you in? Oh, yo, God, I was caught in traffic. I was coming from Brooklyn into Manhattan. I took the BQE, but where was your lessons at? Right? That wasn't no excuse. Mm-hmm.
That's why the requirement is to have them on brain.
Right.
Just in case that happened.
Yeah, well.
You have it on brain. Once you got, you know what I'm saying? That way you can't say, oh, my lessons I left. That's why the requirement is to have them on the mind, mental. So, you know, if that does happen, you know what I'm saying, then you won't have no excuse. I don't know.
Okay, the root of that comes from this. So, the older guys in the year 1, they were home. Police bust in. Boom! Fuck up, give me lessons. Wow! Fuck out of here. They go to the precinct, so they break out. Hey, BG tells the story. So boom, they go tell Allah, yo, oh, we came and took our lessons, Robert goes to the precinct with him. So, yo, we give you lessons? So he may make him wait. Man, wait, man, you know, whatever, boom. So they eventually give him, he said, listen, son, you know, they done took these lessons and they done made copies. He said, what's important is you putting these lessons on brain because they can't take it from your brain. They can't take it from your mind. Right? They can take that. Okay, but you took it. I keep it, man. Good reading. She gonna okay, bet then that and that way. Sometimes the mouth and ear also worked. Because sometimes the mouth to ear was because some people couldn't read. You got some people in the nation
and couldn't write.
They right. So they were like, yo, okay, listen, man. Well, let me tell you. Okay, look, but I'm hearing you. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing the sound. So I'm able to, okay, I'm gonna take it from there, and then education based on that. You was told to go to school, but that was another form of basic education. But knowing them, to this day, God, to this day, that's important to know the basic, the rudiments of what we teach. Again, I just refer back to Darkim. Brother called building with him. I'm going to his build, but he's going to build just knowing, because people will call you. When people know that you know God, when people know that you know, make no mistake. God, especially now, I got you on the internet. I'm shouting you out on Facebook. I'm tweeting you. I'm on the phone. I'm texting you. I'm doing all kinds of abracadabra shit that they doing now, just to get to the knowledge. And so you need to know, but you also need to learn in that. How to correct, because sometimes people come to you, man, with some, with some real other shit. Like, okay, sometimes you gotta be careful with, this is what it says in my degree. You know what I mean? Okay, I hear you, but that doesn't mean it's right, though. Right? Mm-hmm. This is the purpose of why the you and I verse. See? Universe, that's why you and I verse, so we understand. We in our immediate space and time. But you're not gonna come into my sphere of gravity and tell me that and then that something was amiss there. You know what I mean? So another thing, go back to something earlier you made a point about sometimes you gotta be careful because a person may stutter. Because you may get in class. I seen it happen in God's class, my class, class. Please God, what's the day of mathematics? So now all eyes is focused. So nobody was ever put on Front Street like that. Okay, yeah, God, let me hear this. You're like, oh shit, you sweating hot, soaked. You was cool. You was cool in the game. You came in there. Yeah, big dog, yeah, God, big man. How you, man? Yeah, God, how the family? And then God came ask me some questions like, God, what day mathematics? What? That's not what I asked you. What? You asking me a question now? No. God, okay. And But never be fear of what you're saying, God. Make knowledge born, boom. It is what it is, and you need to stand and correct it. A lot of times it's because it may be
the approach.
No, that too, depending on that too. But then God is man, and like steel sharpens steel, men sharpen men. So, and by that I mean this here. You have some people that are mild in character. You can speak like, boy, your parents call me son. Shut the fuck up. I'm telling you now, this is how it goes. You know what I mean? I hear from Sahim and Sincere. That's how he taught. That's how when I went to Medina. I was in White Coat Potters. This is the first instruction I got from him. He told me shut the fuck up. I was like, damn, some angry dudes, man.
Yeah, bro.
You telling me?
Rule.
You shut the fuck up. I'm telling you now. So now, I had some emotional callous though. I wasn't like, not callous, but I was cut from a different cloth. So I listen, okay, me, what you gotta say, man? Because that didn't really move me because you said that, but I'm gonna listen though. Because you said that with authority. So you must know that the next few things must be some real swift shit you gonna drop on me. So I listen. I said, oh, okay, Bill, got you. So I was wrong. Got you, God. You know, I mean, okay, I concur that you could have came at me a different way. But you know, that was the way, but later on, understanding came in time. I got why the gods were the way they were. Because this is not a game. This is not a game, man. Like I told you, at one time, God, when we was coming up, I'm using lady in my class. Remember, he was a shorty. Darkim here. Yeah, come here. He was 2 chains. Come here, God. You know, he just steady, oh God, on our ass and all everybody. Come here, God, tell you now. Surrounding him. I'm telling you, he wasn't playing. Sword fight. Yeah, I'm telling you. He's Saeed. Listen, God, listen. We drop this on him. So we had the Million Man March. Long story short, first met Shah. This was the father. People that was with the father. And calling his man, the law's man was justice. And not to disparage the brother, you know, boom, peace, John 37X back in the Mosque days, you know. Right. So Shaheed come out, boom, we didn't let peace. So when he comes, you know, to the parliament, this was like early 90s, you know, like standing room only. Like, okay, this dude did walk with the law, you know. So peace God. So he had, when he came in, you know, first of all, I came to shake his hand. He was like, oh no, you know, like you relax. So ABG and Shaquille said, no, he taught him, man. You know, he gave a little arrogant approach. That wasn't cold like Medina. That was just some real arrogance. So I said, ain't no problem, God, peace to you, man. You know what I mean? You know, love, listen, respect. I respect you. When you got up in that rally, that parliament, now bear in mind now that you were there with Allah, right? But then you start talking to goddess, and then you start talking about my mathematics and your mathematics. He couldn't even get out of there. When he got to the door, love and all, a bunch of so shoo. Peace, God. What do you mean by your mathematics, my mathematics? Is the mathematics one and the same? Like we get to the variations and that, you know, whatever. What do you mean? Like that wasn't even, you know, the root of what I'm saying is that, but the young guys were taught well. And they wasn't disrespectful, but they wasn't playing either. We're not playing. I think, where you going? How you doing? You walk with all along, man. They ain't see you, man. But be no bad witness to that, man. Well, I told that, okay, that peace, but it's all right, no problem. Here's how, and this how I'm going, here's how I'm gonna reference this. Check this out. Come here. Yo, God, listen, you know him? Yeah, I know you do, because he was around then too. And he said X, Y, Z. Yeah, God, I said, oh, please, God, what I'm saying, you know, so my point is that, first of all, they were spine and backbone. Like, peace, God, how you doing? I don't understand what do you mean? Because you spoke forcefully, didn't that what that mean? The older guys in Medina, when they told me, I caught that. Shut up. I said, damn. Like, why you talking? But I get it. Like, now it means you don't know shit. You don't know nothing. Look, you know, be quiet. First of all, who are you? Now it means to know. Who are you? Oh, your priest, God, my name is, you know. But now listen, again, once again, doing the knowledge, the next few things they said out their mouth, I got it. Got you. Right? And I was able to stand up like the priest, God, was like, because I wasn't, you talking to me like, no tails here, no, you know what I mean? So, and I get it. And then later on, when I see the gravity of what it is I'm quoting here, I get why I need to shut up and listen, do the knowledge. You know, although, you know, so, peace, God, peace, bro. So, when I was saying, I was talking about Darkim and them, when they were younger. Come here, but you know, they were always here. I was always learning, but I was nation active. You know what I mean? So I'm here. Regardless of where you are, I'm involved. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna let nobody come into my circumference rather. Because fear grabbed me, that's her. But it's my circumference and then say anything. But the reason why I'm able to protect that is because I know. I'm not playing, but my knowledge is right. And why is it right? Because I studied every day. And it came from me knowing, okay, bet, boom, what you say? Right? Like me and God was talking about. Like you came in, God was talking about interpretation and interpretation. So you listen, okay. Now cipher. In my lessons it says, okay, I hear what you said. Because you said that's in your lesson, doesn't make it right. Now, check this out, I'm gonna respect you. I hope, now put your facts on the table. What do you mean? Say what you mean and mean what you say. You're quoting these lessons. How long you had it? I had it so and so. Okay, so what do you mean by X, Y, Z? I mean, I can understand like different things like deaf, dumb, and blind, deaf, and dumb. Okay, you're not, knock it off. You're not saying nothing wrong here. Had you omitted and said something other, I'm blind, then I know how to do it, then you freestyle right now. You know what I mean? So, and then a lot of people got their ass whipped. Now, listen, I'm gonna say that. Why? Let me say something to you. I said this before in another tape. The last time a black man played, and yeah, he existed. They made Devil. He played with 2 pieces of steel. And by playing, I mean like you taking. Cause so what are you doing here? This is the instruction. This is the map that we're drawing up. You don't change when you change the word. You change the direction of where we're going. Then. This even to this day. I just told you I'm putting the man from the bar. I went to the God. I'm telling the God the question. The first question, damn, will you or can you? God, is there a difference? Like how do you to this day? And I ask that because again, God, knowledge means to know. And to this day, I'm not going to take nothing for granted or on face value. Am I quoting that right? Because I'm putting that on the book with my name there. Look, God, now cipher. Maybe I would use that. Why, God? Because X, Y, Z. I'm listening. A lot of times when we're told we're wrong or we're being corrected, God, now cipher. People like being corrected. I didn't either at one point when I was younger. Now cipher, what do you mean? And I know what you're saying is right. I'm gonna keep it funky. I'm not gonna sit here act like I had the flag, I had the cape on. I was just God. Like no, I was damn people. Damn, cause I didn't fucking study. Damn, he got me. Fuck it, okay, all right. But one thing I said, let me take it back to the lab. Take it back to okay, but he said that. Let me get this, and then this happened. The 5% was short. Yo, where's Supreme at? Where you live? There's the notion. Yo, God, give me a token. Or I jumped the fucking turnstile. Yo. Yeah, God, I got this. I got something for you too. Here, boom. We exchanged, the bill. But that's strengthened. That's mental gymnastics.
See, when I gave the lessons to my wisdom, right, and I say,
your woman.
To my woman.
Yeah, you gonna do that again.
So I give her the lessons and just one word. And she said nope. I was caught in the 28th degree. So you was quoting. She was looking to see. Yeah. Wow. Okay. To make sure that every word was right. So instead of when I got to the part where it says this law was given to all doctors, she said it don't say this. It say the law was given. So I said, but it's the same thing. She was like, but it don't say that. They say the law. Okay. Because I'm used to saying this law was given to all doctors, ministers, nurses, and cremators. Okay. So it's just like something slightly like that. I wouldn't I wouldn't really say now cipher because sometimes I say it. Okay. Well, I mean, as long as you don't. The word is not changing you. As long as your words are not changing the idea degree. Like you're coming among the form of God. So you come to the nation and you quote it and you like, wow, like Sesame Street, one of these things don't look like the other. You quote something and like it's and then look, let me say this, God, let me correct myself here. Because what you're necessarily saying, because I found this to be true too. Because one person is saying something that may be diametrically different doesn't mean he wrong either. That's the purpose of you and I versing. Right?
But as long, again, but if your words are not changing the idea degree, see, if it's changing the idea, we got to pause and say, what do you mean? I don't, you know, Ocean covered 79 million. No, that's not what it says. It's 68. You know what I mean? And then, you know, right, we're not changing letters and numbers and, you know, right, we're not doing that.
I get it, God. Long as if you don't do what Yakub did was grafted.
Peace.
Yeah,
As
right.
long as you don't graft it, peace. And it's understood, and you show and prove it, then it's okay.
Yeah, but what's the first thing you gotta do? I gotta think, hold on, God.
You have to do the knowledge.
There you go, God. Okay, yeah, God, what's that?
No, I think this don't change the idea either, but even on knowledge degree 140, I've seen it written, why does Islam renew her history?
Oh,
I've seen that.
oh,
No.
oh. Where'd you get that from?
I think it's in lessons I got. Why does Islam renew her history every 25 years?
Her? H-E-R? No, you know, I'm not. No, absolutely not.
So that would change the whole,
Absolutely. I don't know nobody here that had that. I mean, I know that in history teaches that in that degree, the Holy Quran, the Bible, it said made by the original people, and then it's some of that. Holy Quran, the Bible was made with the original men was along. Right. The people, I got there. You know, there was argument there with that too, but you know, but her that just took you somewhere else.
I say
Now,
the original man. The Quran was made by the original man who was Allah. It says original people, but I'm so used to saying original man, you know, that nobody never stopped me neither.
No, I mean, well, there was, you know, again.
You know, some people have it like that because that's what it says in my lessons. It said the original people, but I'm so used to calling it like the original man.
But, and some people's interpretation of that is because you can't take the man who's the head of the family without the woman and child. So I'm referring to the people. So there was some little argument with that. But historically, you know, again, these lessons were taken out of the mosque, right? So, and then there were some things that needed to be changed, right? Definitely knowledge and wisdom, right? This is where the wisdom and knowledge and wisdom of man started. This is what was properly quoted in the mosque. It was the wisdom before the knowledge. It was knowledge. We were taught knowledge before wisdom, right? Because wisdom is the way. One of the main objects of communication is to speak verbally. So there's no you speaking without first knowing. There's no way. There's no you making a way without you first knowing. So this is why that was important. Even in your degrees, there was a lot of that had to be changed. This is where the knowledge and wisdom man started when the planet was first found. You know, again, let me just say this too. We're not here to, especially back in Muhammad and them, because they up there. That's my man. We're not here to disparage them. But, because they did their job. He came with the wisdom of the law. Peace.
Hey, something like that.
Yeah, got a question for you too, man. Yeah, so, you know, so the world had to be changed. Allah's Queen was saying that a lot of times asking that question about William McCann, you know, a lot of times when we're writing over, which was the God. You know what I mean by the? T-H-E-E.
T-H-E-E?
Yeah, the. Like this is like the most important thing. What do you think I mean by that? I'm gonna tell you why I use that word.
Now, when you said the,
T-H-E-E.
No, I look at it as.
I mean, like this is the most important. This is like there could be nothing that could come close to this. How important this is. Now, this is what I mean. That's why I use the word "the" to this, because we were taught write the degree out. Write your degree out. A lot of us were given to that. How do you want? I want this degree. No, you wasn't given whole sets of lessons. Well, I wasn't.
I wasn't.
Yeah, right. Write knowledge. K-N. Can you spell first? Yeah, okay. Then write it out. It wasn't no knowledge is the basic foundation. No, that down low. You come up with that later. But I'm giving this to you. Knowledge. Now you go research. Because I'm not gonna give you the cup, the water, and then tell you. No, you go do all that, right? But later on, when I had to write these lessons out, it strengthened the retention. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. It strengthens how, okay, bet. And sometimes, and what happens is, when you write them out, okay, I may have misspelled the word. And that's important too, the spelling of a word. I know I got a chicken scratch handwriting, but I try to make it as legible as I can, right? Or omitting a word, like the word not there. Like, oh, nah, that's not like, we go, like, he said her, nah. Or including a word that shouldn't belong, it doesn't belong.
That's how most of the lessons that don't coincide, that's what happened. Brothers wrote them out, and they might have left out a word, they might have put a word there, because when we gotta remember, when we first got knowledge, we was babies. A lot of us couldn't even read. I couldn't read that well and spell that well.
And I mean what you're saying, because the same way when I wrote lessons out too, probably, by the same way I coded, I probably wrote, like I was saying, deaf, dumb, and blind, or blind, deaf, and dumb,
Yeah, that's
because
lessons are the way it
I
is.
think, that's why I think that the lessons are the way they are like that. Some brothers have it different because brothers lose their lesson, especially in jail. The SEALs always taking the lessons, brothers write them out again, they might put a word there or they might just change. But like you said, long as you don't change it, like graft it, long as you don't graft it.
Well, that's some diabolical shit when you use that word graft. I mean, there's an intent involved.
Yeah, there's intent involved. Yeah.
I want this mission to be changed.
Yeah.
But this mistake, you gotta be careful with the mistakes too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why God, God, what was prerequisite with this knowledge? Let me say this to you, God. Before I even got a lesson, I had to learn first how to be a man. And then, I do. I had to learn how to get bombed and BP on. Look, he running around talking about he quote lessons, you don't know. Come here, Roger Melanin back in moons ago. And he quote these lessons impeccably. What do you mean by that? They was all kinds of, speaking rapidly. You know what I mean? But again, but I had to, the correction. Like God is wrong. Right? Now I know you screaming real loud. You know what I mean? Again, I'm looking at the whole she ain't looking at me. Damn. He's screaming at me like that. But the name of the science is to be corrected so that don't happen again. Damn who's around you. You know what I mean? Look directly at me. Use your sober facts now. Your actual facts, man. Sight and sound. Don't worry about them, because they deaf, dumb, and fucking blind. I'm the one telling you running around and quoting these greats, and you don't know. So I called you in the middle of the street. Come here! What's your name? Go, people. And then you going through that, and then, okay, God, now cipher. This is how it goes. Okay, peace, God, I got you. No problem. All right, as long as you're not coming with no intent to disparage me, I'm good. But you have to learn, because it's not always gonna be God, like, son, so I understand. Because we don't know the name of the game. I'm saying, like, it's a true and living God, it's a true and living devil. And by devil, anyone who's a doer of evil that has an intent to deliberately take you off your course. This is why one of the crown jewel statements that the 5% make is everything is subject to be shown and proved. We're not taking nothing, not even these lessons on face value. But we're quoting them, and then we gonna ask questions. And we gonna go through. I've seen guards who've been here year one going at it with one another. Prince and Ahmed and Khalim and this one and whatever, because this and God, this is, still. Because the signs, everything is subject to be shown and proved. Your mouth ain't a prayer book. I mean, I trust your knowledge, brothers in this room, in fact. But we gonna acknowledge what you're saying. This was important. In fact, I'm sorry, I mean to go ahead. So I had a discussion with these meatballs, and I met him. My thing is, you want internet talking this nonsense? Okay, no problem. This is how I broke you in. You absolutely right. Where you live? Yeah. Look, first of all, check this out. We don't teach that. Teach what? Like, you want to be a Muslim God and teach that psychedelic shit? That's cool, but do that over there. Because God doesn't prostrate, right? Or genuflect to manifest His reality. If Allah is your Lord, peace to you. We're not here to disparage you. Allah teaches that, but you're not going to do that. You're not going to talk about wisdom, knowledge, and, you know, and in fact, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad even teach that psychedelic shit you teaching. But, and what's my point? My point is, again, because we have people with intent.
With bad intent.
Right. Like you see, God, devil's still being created and grafted. God was going through that bill yesterday about how every time the devil touched something, like the gods made something great, but here he come and I'm gonna taint it and fuck it up. You know what I mean? Your food, your water, the way you do things, your clothes, everything. Look in this day and time, God. Look at it, but I don't want to get again. But doing the knowledge, and knowledge means to know. But in order for me to know, I have to look, listen, and I have to respect. And I'm sure next rally, Parliament, you're going to hear also somebody go coming through. It happened near the end, but we had a good Parliament last year. But near the end, on my way out the door, God getting the business given to him because of something you said. But you screaming, security's like, they over there screaming. So I walked over there and said, what's happening? So I'm listening. I said, okay, they all right. What happened? He said some dumb shit, right, that had nothing to do with what we're talking about. But you want to make the association that it is. And that's not cool. So now you got a problem. Because what's your intention? I'm telling you that we're talking apples and you're talking the green. Two different foods here. Right, so again, you know, just know, and then you gotta be careful how you espousing and teaching that. But it all comes back to the days, man. Let me look, let me read, let me get to know this first.
Sometimes, God, I don't even blame brothers when they get on it like that because, you know, teach it right or don't, you know what I'm saying? Because then you're gonna teach it wrong. You teaching it to the babies wrong. So, you know, teach it right.
When we go through this piece, God, when we go through these ciphers of brothers teaching it wrong, like people that he was just mentioning, you know, it's all a part of prediction of our history. So it just makes us that sharper, especially when we go through it. We cut the weeds out. You know, we still got a long way to go before, according to this Quran, before it's full. But right now, law is here. So all those things that we went through in the past, you know, how we built with each other in the street, you know, how we even went to each other's house or sent them back home to study his lesson. All that was a part of keeping us sharp. So that as we going into it, we perfecting everything that all these pens that, as you say, because when I was upstate, many brothers in the beginning had to write lessons out because we didn't have copiers to actually go copy that.
Yeah, right.
And that's not how we were taught. So we got a degree at a time. When I went away in 1970, when I first got knowledge, they sent mathematics and spring mathematics and the alphabets down to me off on a line. And that's how I had to study it. So it was a degree at a time. And then I had to walk the yard with the guards before I got any of the other degrees. Like the guard just said to you, you know, you had to go do your research and then come back, and then they would add on. That's how you grew. That was the building that we did back then. The guard that he mentioned, Wise Jamel never knew how to read nor write.
Yeah.
How he learned it is word of mouth. By hearing us build all the time. And what he would do, I would sit down with him sometimes. The word who, that's the very first word in the day's degree, who. So I said, spell that out first. Look at it. And then learn how to spell it. And then do each line the same way. Pronounce the word, spell it out. And over time, he memorized that. So, you know, it's not like you can't be taught. You know, a lot of times, also what he spoke, what he said, what I heard him say, when speaking to anybody, you have to speak in clarity. So if you're going into a group of brothers that's you trying to teach, you got to speak with clarity so that the oldest one there will know what you're speaking about, as well as the youngest one. So that everybody is getting a full understanding of what you're building about. And a lot of us don't do that. So this is why everything is subject to proof, because another brother's understanding may be a little different. But if we ain't like mine, then we gonna all see it the same way. And that's what we gotta do. That's the bill that we, that's what we strive to do, that we all see it the same way. And it's not that's gonna take a long time. But we built and strive for that, 120 degrees. For example, this week, so that everybody would know, I had a meeting here.
Yeah, okay. You right
With
around
the Department of Corrections, okay? This is our second meeting with them. First, we went to Albany and sat down with them. This time, they came here, and I wanted them to come here, so they would clear up some of that mystery as to, are we real? A lot of them up there, they don't, this just started in jail. No, this is a nation, in fact, that started in '64 right here. So by them coming here, we was able to deal with that portion of history also, so that they could see, this is not a joke, this is real. And we've been living this, God-centered culture for years. So, we had a fruitful meeting. So we will be able to go back in, and that's something I wanted to build with you. And I'm going because a lot of people anybody that wants to go in, they have to basically know 120 degrees. I'm gonna build with you about it because you have the classes. So if anybody coming out your classes want to be involved with that, as going in, to teach with the brothers in there, that's good. But they can come from your classes. But anybody else that want to go in, also, we got to go in first. They're allowing us to go in, so we are.
Our next meeting is in Fishkill, isn't it?
Yeah, Fishkill, we're going to Fishkill to do training. Okay, the training is basically with their imams, their chaplains, all of them, so that, and some of their higher ranks, so that they would be what you call sensitivity training, so that they'll have knowledge of this nation and what we're about, especially the chaplains, so that when we are not around, we put together a facilitator's manual and a PowerPoint presentation for the training. And when they came here last Monday, they agreed they loved everything that we did. So basically you gotta go train them, and then what I spoke to them about, I don't want to focus on Attica and Clinton. I want to focus on the hub right down here.
Yeah, right.
And deal with a pilot program.
And then take it,
Exactly.
Right.
So, I don't want to spread it too thin before we just get in.
Right.
So once we get in and we see how everything is growing and we add on, then we could, go, I could speak with Shabazz, they doing them up in, Albany. And then we allow that to grow. But we are in there, that's a fact, and they know what we're doing. We just gotta get up in there, and anybody that wants to go in there, they gotta, basically, we sitting down, we putting together a package of information for individuals because they gotta be screened. The screening process comes from us. We do the screening and think and put down who we think is qualified to actually go in there and do the teachings, So, and then the other thing is there's gonna be a lot of young guards in there who, because the way that they pick the facilitator come from their directives. And a lot of times, my first meeting, I told them that, some of the things, the people that y'all might pick, this nation don't agree with.
Right.
For example, a rapist, they may pick him because he had his disciplinary record is great, graduated school, all those things that they asked for. So that became an issue because we said, well, what we got to do now is that even if it's a young guard that's in there, they only know the student enrollment, but he has all those qualifications, we might have to use him as that body. And then I also spoke with the said nations that are in there right now that's trying to take over certain classes, because that is happening in certain facilities. So by us coming in there, and I told them, if I see any said nations in there, I'm going to immediately come to who's in charge and let them know they're not a part of this. And we'll be able to detect that, just like what you was building. Stay in your foundation, and let your foundation be strong. You'll be able to detect all that. When I say stay in your foundation, I don't mean surface knowledge. I mean to be in depth with these degrees and where we're going with it. Your goal,
You know why I got close guard? Because I'm a member of you. I'm a member of you, peace, God. I'm a member of you from a long time.
In the penal?
Yeah, God.
That
You said not. Don't let the son God do that. Send somebody else, cause the God's about to go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So why would you even put a person like that? You need somebody that's gonna be there. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the above.
Okay, yeah, so mine said mine, because I was gonna ask you that. So, again, dealing with knowledge, again, okay, Bill, complete.
So I need you to hear this, God.
Darkim, yeah.
Darkim. I also brought up the fact that, you know, the flags, the crowns, the books, all the things that the guards need in the penal institution. And I told him, I said, we got a store that we already associated ourselves with. What better place can it come from than the school in Mecca? Because that's the foundation. And everybody notices the foundation. So he said, well, you got the crowns? I said, we got crowns. We got flags. We can get the flags. Because, you know, according to the directive, they have to be on chains. They can't have them on pins.
Yeah.
So that's something we need to work on, even though I know the guard do them, you know, but once they start coming in abundance, we're going to need them in abundance.
Right, because once they know they give them the green light, everybody and their mother gonna want one, yeah.
And when I built with them about that, they said, you got a store, y'all got, so they said, yeah, the whole thing was about the vendors, right? Because remember what, on their directive, what they come with, they said, you gotta have the wording, you gotta be careful with their words. An approved vendor, you have to have an approved vendor. So whatever vendor would be more approved for our nation and, you know, our flag, crowns, you know, all the things that we can have than our own store. So he said, right, so it comes with a disclaimer. They're gonna send us all the paperwork to sign that so that when it goes back, and the lady that came is the director
of that.
Of the program, all programs.
Oh, okay, in New York State.
New York State.
Wow, okay.
And she's the director. They just promoted her to that position.
Good
But
money.
she was the one that
That's
we
about
met with
me.
when we went the first time.
That's powerful. Me.
Okay, so
good,
yeah,
good stuff.
and he and the reverend that came is the head chaplain
Right.
for all of New York State.
Okay.
So, you know, when I told him about the store, he said, y'all got the store, and all you need is the vendor's information. He threw up his hand. He said, well, that's all we needed. Both of them. So they was, you know, they was happy about that whole thing, and it was basically saying, this is what we've been waiting for.
You sure is. No,
so now, you know, God, with that being said, you know, my whole focus right now is
getting the store right.
Build with those brothers about that.
Yeah, about that, yeah. Getting that store right.
Yeah, right. And I was built with the God at the last parliament he was here. You know, I just got to build with him again.
Who did you build with in regards to the store?
I already told him, what's the guy in the wheelchair, my black son? I built with him at the parliament, the last parliament he was here. I let him build up there. But me and him got together in the hallway. And I had already told him before CR went back home, we had already built about all of the above. Right. It's just that y'all don't know about it because y'all haven't been around.
Exactly.
And all this stuff, you know, we had the snowball effect that took place with the stuff going home. So now that it's really relevant, I need to build with him again. You know, let him know, man.
Run the store though.
Very,
Run the store.
very sick, man. They say liver is failing.
Black son?
Black
Yeah,
son.
he looked at
Done. They say he about done.
You can't run the store.
So,
Besides that,
That's why I
Ron's the one that you got to
Ron's
deal
running
with.
the
So
store.
Ron's running the store, man.
now, Kim, who do we speak? Okay. She said, Devon is running the store.
Yeah. Cause I talked to him the other day. He's
Yes.
running the store.
He's the point person. Like they got a whole, unit, but he's here every day, and then plus he's dealing with the construction, and then he was here with CI Kill, you know what I'm saying? So then the transition is not so bumpy.
He's the go-to person. He's a
Yeah,
great, exactly.
the transition is not so bumpy because he know everything that was going on
All
before,
right.
you understand what I mean?
Okay, that's great. That's beautiful then. Okay, but that's where we at with it. So, I just want everybody to be aware of that.
Got great clients, God, and definitely, I got you, man, I was ready,
I'm happy to see you, God.
to,
A lot of years, God.
Yeah,
A lot of years.
Been home a lot of years now.
I've been home.
Yeah, since '96. I came
You came home when?
I came home in '87.
Oh, you see, yeah. What was the last facility you was in?
In Franklin.
Okay.
I was in
I remember
Franklin.
You said let the other guard do it because I'm about to come home. You said nah, let some guard.
Yeah.
You
But
must
that's
have
what
went
he's
home
about to
before I
go
got
home.
there, cause I wasn't, we both was
No,
in
but
Franklin.
listen, in Franklin,
Franklin was sweet.
we had the NOI classes. So we didn't, at that
Yeah,
time,
no
we
time.
didn't have,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't have this.
You had to take.
And they sent me on a PK draft, me and Juan King.
And we all together. We
But
was
you know, I'm
Clinton.
a
We going to
soldier
Clinton
for
together
this
back
nation,
then.
God. If you would have sent me to do it regardless, I
I
would have
know.
did it anyway. You know
I
what I'm
know
saying?
that.
But you know,
But it's not
you
about
just,
that. I'm talking about.
yeah, I know. You know, you just said that. Let the brother.
He get ready to go home, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he ready to
Mercy,
go
man.
home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're taking his date from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But that's
yeah.
the bill, God.
Yeah, okay,
You know,
peace,
get up
peace,
in
God,
there,
yeah.
but that's in the core with wisdom, born to agree and law, free
Exactly,
sacrifice.
yeah,
You know,
that's right,
we
God.
don't want, if we get in there, and then what I made it a point of, that I said, we're not only gonna teach 120 lessons, because that's all a part of the whole curriculum, but we're gonna teach them life skills. I see that's what they don't get in there. They don't, you know, a lot of times y'all had this, what was them pre-programs where you go to.
Oh, that pre-release shit.
It's a pre-release.
Yeah, that pre-release shit, yeah.
You said
Huh?
you started that, right?
Called transition service.
Transition service.
Didn't you say you started that?
I said I worked in there.
Okay, well,
Okay.
see, and I was making a point that a lot of us that's home already have that knowledge and information. All they gotta do is come here, and we have the classes and all that that's gonna be prepared for. You know, I said, so by going in there, the vision is that if we can get a dormitory in one of those, like the first place we're going to is Fishkill. If we can get a dormitory, this is I didn't give you the
Vision.
whole vision.
Yeah, the
If we
vision.
can get a dormitory in the same way that y'all allow people with great behaviors to come down closer, and if that's the, you know, we set a model right there. If guys are in those that particular dorm, whether they are or not, we can train them and teach them on how to come out here. But our first, you know, our foundation is about this nation. So they was happy about, y'all wanna do that too? You wanna teach? Yeah, we do all of
Okay.
that. We do all the above.
Oh, that's great. That's great, God. Cause you read my mind. I was definitely gonna, when you came in, I was going to
know that.
I was gonna call you the other day
Yeah,
when it first happened.
I was here, but I had to go back to work.
But then, let me say this to you too, God. Now, that's good, again, going back to this, then you have to be assertive,
Yes.
right? With what we're teaching in the direction, because from our experiences, you know, you know how it goes. You know, you come in, first of all, they're excited. Okay, God coming in. Then you go to get, so you got, you always keep the direction. This is what we're teaching. Because you know somebody will come, so what do you mean by, no, God, we'll deal with that later. First things first and last things last.
Now, let me ask you this, because I also said to them, as well as the committee that I'm dealing with, that the whole focus is that at the pilot, say we do the pilot in Fishkill, all right, and we got a, lesson plan that everybody will according to. What I told them, when it goes to other facilities, that same pilot program is going elsewhere. So what happens, it prevents two guards coming from another facility quoting a different degree.
Right.
Because everybody gonna be on the same page. When it comes to lessons, the lesson plan and everything. So basically, when we see each other, it eliminates what we went through in our history, having to, that's not what my lessons say. Because all the lessons are gonna be the same.
That'd be a
That's
good
what you was
thing.
talking about,
Okay,
right?
okay. There you go, yeah.
That's what I was talking
So
about.
yeah, so that complements, right.
That whole,
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out of there, with the right brothers going in there and assisting them in how it should be taught, let them teach. But here you got your foundation is here. We add on what is necessary.
Exactly.
We
going in
ain't
there
in there, we ain't
Just
going
do,
in there to
basically,
change
to
anything.
do the knowledge
Do the
for
knowledge,
brothers
that's
that's there, because they the ones gotta be there. So you want them to have the foundation on how to teach what we teach out here in there. So yeah, and we go in to supervise. Let them do the
Can I
teaching.
let me ask you a question, John? And I'm sure they asked, what was, please, so whoever said that. Yeah, we glad you come in.
Peace.
Please. Yeah, long time no see. How you doing?
Peace.
Um, when have they asked, what do you teach? And if so, what was told to them?
So we teach 120 lessons.
Okay,
We teach that the black man is God.
okay,
You know, all of that actually came from the intelligent top briefcase.
okay.
So it's, you know, they're already knowledgeable as far as that concept is concerned. I wish I had brought it with me. But we go into the 120, we deal with how dietary laws, how we eat, what a parliament is, you know, the days that the reason why we have the power, we built on all that. In the 5-point presentation, maybe next week if you want to, I have it on a soft drive where I can bring it and plug it in the computer.
You can put it, yeah. In fact, I tell you what, next class, man, that'll be something that we can inform. Yeah. Come and check that. Yeah.
It gives y'all a makes you see.
Next Saturday.
I want everybody to see exactly what's going on. And, you know, because the more input that I get and everybody see it, you know, we move forward about building this nation. The other part of that, the economic part of it is gonna be great. Once
Oh, yeah, no,
start.
yeah, once they get on, absolutely.
It's gonna be great.
Absolutely.
And talking about, building a 7-story building, if you get, and we're not dealing, keep in mind, we're not dealing with the other states. We only dealing with New York. And that came about, the most y'all know, we split from Mon King and then we formed, the cultural management here in law school.
Okay.
Okay, so me and him already built on that.
Right. You're the go-to people in New York to get this thing
We
off the
had our
ground.
different disagreements about that because he didn't want us to reach out to other states and form a bond. Remember, there's 9 regions. In the same way we building with an office here, we want it to be an office in each region.
Yeah, and as time go on.
So the guard of law mathematics went to Virginia on a visit and he reached out to the guards there. And was it Virginia? Where's
Who? Go ahead.
what's the guy? Minister Justice. He's in Virginia.
He's in North Carolina.
Well, he went. That's where he went, and he was the only
Now
one that
in
he
school.
could build with. He said that
He moved from Albany to there, right?
right. He's down there, and he's going into the prisons down there.
I'm in the
Okay, that's good, yeah, because they going through it down there.
Yeah, but anyway, you know what I'm just saying that we broke apart from them. We still doing the exact same things. I stay in touch with the guard. We're still my brother. It's just that we don't agree with certain things to be done. So I said, well, we're gonna deal with Mecca.
I told you
Anything else? Because a lot of letters come from all over here.
Right.
Every state. So what we do is take anything that's any. What we're trying to do is get a brother.
Who's in the front? Who's in the front?
C.
Just see?
Yeah.
Well,
Somebody.
Talking about somebody sleeping in the school. Shit.
Where?
Me.
oh, she came in front.
Yeah.
We want to, touch base
That's
with
it,
each
right.
region.
Let's see. Yeah, okay.
That's why you see.
Yeah.
We just want to get in touch with each region so that they, being that this is where it all started from, we be able to put them in tune with what we're doing here.
Gotcha.
And they can move forward with that. Because there's 16 states that now allow us to come into the prison to teach.
16 states.
16
Okay, good.
Mecca was the foundation. So we're going to deal with this here. We're going to get this right and then move forward.
Right. Okay, beautiful guy, and I'm glad. And then what I do too, I'm gonna build with you further. So I'll make the class a little elaborate next Saturday, if you will, when you bring that in. So I have people come and, that the class our focus point would be one of the things, definitely be that.
Okay.
Because everybody nationally, where what we doing, although, and it's just the same signs, ain't nothing different, just that this is direction and it's good. And it's good that happened. I remember, well, one of the things we talked was that when you, unfortunately, because prison's going to be, but that we go in there, man, you're not going in there, raising your flag, and oh, God, you're going to, your honorable name, whatever. But we understand that God is seen and heard everywhere. So because I'm in there doesn't mean that the teaching stops. However, because you're in that type of cipher, you definitely want to use 120 to empower you not to come back. You know, I always use myself as a reference point. You know what I mean?
Myself as well.
Yeah, no problem. Well, most of us,
Right.
absolutely. And you talking about that day and time, I was still, I had knowledge like already 30-something years, and I'm going back and forth. But, and all I meant was that knowledge. There's something about me I need to get to know. You know, I got to tap back into me. I got to know, because you keep, man, act like you want to fall off this ledge, man. You know what I mean? So there's something about you need to know. So I had to come in there, and then, well, and then I came in there, damn near cried. When the guards told me on a last sentence that the guards had won, right? So I came in on the eve of that, right? And then, so you know, I'm like, yeah, and I went straight to what Allah judge. They wasn't even there yet, and I was like, oh yeah, you can get forums and this and that, and you can do this, you know. So God was like, yeah, God, you know, but they just started. They were still fighting the guards with that. And then I had the honor of meeting a beautiful brother, man. My God, powerful nation. He was one, actually the brother, and the church, he was the one who took it and found the pieces and made it happen. And made the connection. It was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? You know, the God's honorable name is Patrick Graham, powerful nation. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, we were all together.
How you go with the God?
Yeah.
Okay,
Huh?
He helped me out teaching the brothers home and all that.
Yeah, no question he was. Yeah, no question he was. Beautiful. I mean, and God, he was every bit of that name. But yeah, so and so the science, like the God was saying, but we talk 120, but 120 in regards to how it'll keep you from coming back here.
Absolutely.
Like you know. So I need you to read 120 from this frame of reference. Like, you know, wisdom and understand, but you gotta know, like I'm watching Darkim, and now especially this one, coming. Seaborn Black, telephone number, Seaborn Black, show and prove. Seaborn Black, in Arizona, California, that's the whole time I'm talking about. And I'm in the law library, I was telling Pat, I was telling Nation, I said, this NFL? I said, he's, oh look, him? I know I can do it. He's out there, and I'm born shiny, got his gold on, and hey, you know, I'm like, everybody value justice, and all these brothers are like out there, they're born justice, and well, you know, and all these brothers were doing their thing, and I'm seeing guys who, like Darkim, who always been out there, you know what I mean? So I'm saying, man, I gotta do what free people doing, man.
That's right.
And then, okay, so I like to go. So what I need to do, because White dude dropped this on me. I came in real quick, God. After reading that, then I came in. I came to the correctional counselor. I never forget this. I gotta drop this, God, please. So I need this was some real deep shit. So I said, and his name was Flill's Neck. He had a funny name, Mr. Flill's Neck. Yeah.
Flill's Neck.
Flill's Neck. Yeah, yeah, that's his name. That was his name. I thought so too.
I was have to laugh at him every time I saw him.
Yeah, Mr. Flill's Neck. I said, no, that's his name. So I said, somebody tongue twister. He said, no, that's his name. Flill's Neck. Flill's Neck. Okay, so anyway, so I get to him. I'm like, crown on, and yeah, peace, you know, yes, and I love my children, and I need to go. He said, look, man, check this out. Mr. Jones out. I ain't trying. I'm not here for that. Cause he shot me down, right? You know. So then what?
Wait, you was going to try to get classes and everything?
No. I was going, you know, because I'm like, because I see the light now.
Okay.
I want to tell everybody that I'm on a straight and narrow, for real. You know what I mean? But then he did some shit up this. He said, okay, good. I said, okay. I said, look for my folder. He said, no, this is your folder. He said, you take it back. He started showing me the progression. You got an afro now. Then when you first came through here, now you ain't got no hair. Right? He said, oh, and by the way, man, I'm taking time he's giving to me. Peace to the God. I want to thank you for, I'm not mad at you for throwing these bricks. Because my children need to go to school. We need highways and crossroads. I need you to do that. So thank you. Right? I just need your behavior to be good in here. So when you go back out and come back in, maybe that granddaughter can get it. Ooh. Right? Hurt God? That's what he said. He's talking to me. crown on, took to the side, there's the truth coming at me. Right? So he said, listen, man, look, in the country church, he said, listen, man. He said, because the crime took place at 2 o'clock. He said, where was you at 12? I was home. With who? My family. Right? Are your children there? I said, yes. He said, okay, bet. And what did you do? I said, you left there to go where? I said, I went,
Check out
the place, it's the spot. He said, so you went, a piece about five miles from your home to this place to check on the spot. He said, so you left your family sleep? He said, well, that's cool, right? My man. You know what that's called? That's called sacrifice. You know what sacrifice means? He said, I said, no, the forfeiture of something valuable for the sake of something great. So you forfeited your family to make sure your spot was right. Right? So thank you, man, for that. I was like, God, damn. He says, you left them there to make sure that my family was all right.
Wow.
Listen, after that, yeah, listen, first of all, do the knowledge. I put a whole new meaning to that. God, why you don't say peace? I say peace, man. I just, you ain't got nothing right to say, right? And then I connected with the gods, and we just, listen, man, this is what we doing. Like, we talking 120, or we talking, right, like the God doing now. Like, that's good, God, but you cannot go to the store and tell somebody who is the original man and get some milk. Right? You can calculate and put together 68,634,000 square miles. That's good. But what does that do in the scheme of things in terms of getting a job? Right? You know, every square inch. But can't get from your door to Brooklyn because of an inability financially to get a Metro card or whatever. Which, precipitates some other bullshit to go down. So, a lot of things will go, so there's, 120. Because you're talking about, what's the song, God? And I'm going to conclude on this note. This kills it. What's the beginning of the Enlightenment? Do you know?
Each of these, Allah.
Okay, yeah, after that, then how's it go?
Wait,
let's go.
Each and every way.
Each and every day and each and every way, I will show and prove and teach the righteous way. Before you even get to the night, each and every day, each and every way. So I gotta traverse some hills and mountains. So each and every day and each and every way. Right? Which means, man, I gotta do what I need to do. You know what I mean? But knowledge, I need to know. So again, now that's peace is God. Yeah.
Yeah. In the PowerPoint presentation, we speak about, because we go through the actual history with Allah. We go through everything all the way up to this, point. And we speak about how prep. It's a point. It's a point that I usually build on because I got it in points. So when we speak about how prep and God called, we speak about how God actually told the gods, get an education or get a skill.
Right.
I recall in our history at a period of time when a lot of us was like, I'm not working for the government. That's how far I remember us saying that. But when the Lord said, no, you get a skill or get an education, he dealt with Carp over there in Harlem Prep. He told her, now go get you an education or get a skill. Umar who else? Arlene, Dubois, all them went to college. They went to Harlem Prep at first, and then they went on to college to get degrees. And that's what the law wanted us to do. So if you did go to the penal institution, you gotta remember, a lot of us, when we got out of ourselves at that period of time, we didn't have a lot of education. We was running the street, and a lot of us was the ones that nobody wanted to deal with. So, the ones that did get it, Messiah was a gangster out here in these streets, man. He was able to pull the rest of them together because of his name. And that's the same, once he did that, of course, and let me just say this, when back then, brother go out and teach one person. No, you were supposed to go out and teach 10. Each person was to go out and get 10 brothers and teach them. That's what you were supposed to. And that's how the nation grows. But I just wanted to say that from a point of education. So it is about us getting, a skill or having a degree of education. For what? To build our nation. to build your individual family as well as this nation's growth and development as a whole. And you can't do it. That's why you always hear me say, when the guards say, thanks for using my words, I appreciate that. You can't take 120 degrees and go into an employment spot and say, look, I got 120 degrees, give me 120 degrees, give me a job. No, there are other factors. 120 degrees is just a foundation. It's a springboard for you to get, because that you know what the devil is. You know what he's dealing with. You know what everybody, now you got an education and your whole will should be about you getting ahead, your worth. Now your self-worth comes with knowledge of self. So you know your worth, and if you execute a law will, that's what the willpower is. All that is force of energy combined together going in one direction. So if we all executed the same will going in one direction, we will take the devil off the face of the planet Earth within one day without falling a victim to the devil's civilization. So that's the mindset that once we go in there and we start teaching them brothers in there who walk the yard all the time talking about what they used to do, you change the paradigm. You start teaching, now you got a class and you got brothers that's actually teaching all the human families of the planet while they're in the penitentiary. Because now you got brothers that's going to yard, yo, they're teaching this, they're doing that, the guards is in here. Of course the devil ain't gonna like that, because as you mentioned, I recall in 1984, in the Bronx, they was getting ready to build a prison in the Bronx. The people fought against that, and they built Southport Correctional Facility. And they built that with they took it up there because those people, those Europeans up there were economically deprived. They were starving up there. So once they built Southport, what you think that did? That brought economics to them. I watched it happen and also Napa. I remember my first bid in Napa in 70. I watched them farmers had old bullshit trucks. By the time I left there, they was riding their new shit.
So
that's off our economics, God. That's from us. So you gotta keep in mind that if we going in there and teaching, that we taking from them. So that's why I say anybody that's going in there, they got to be right and exact. Because them devils gonna try to come at you. But I wanna stay and see what I did say, and they spoke about it too. Both of them that's directors, like I said, in Albany, they both black, which gives us, they still with the Department of Correction, but you can speak to them towards certain issues. And even she said she got problems when she go into Attica or Wendy's, because you got the rednecks up there. They don't care who you are. Yeah. You black. That's the commonness that we have in common, regardless of what job you got. Your skin is black. You're not like me. I don't care what title you hold in. So, they even spoke to that. So I'm like, okay, so that's why we're going to focus on the downstate hub where it's a little more relaxed because we got those black cops here. And it's easier to get there. But all those things come to mind. I just wanted to build on that. And I went to, in 87, 88, I went from that to Southport as soon as they opened the shit up. So I watched it, I watched how they got rid of me. But they got rid of me because I was teaching it all mathematics all the time. They went into my bed. I was down in Tappan. They went into my bed. I had nothing but lessons, copy, because I was the director of the NAACP at the time there. So I was able to get to the copy machines and get everything that we needed for the class.
That's why we got in them positions.
We took those positions so for the upward mobility. But going back to what Allah said, you gotta get an education. When I went in, I internalized what I wanted to do when I came home. And I didn't let no one get in the way of me doing that. That's the word of Allah. When I came here, I started programs here. The very first week I was home, I started programs here. I wasn't gonna let no one get in the way of the bill. Okay? And we went down to WBIA, which is a radio station with Eddie Ellis, if anybody familiar with it. And we got on the radio station. I took that earth with us.
Which one? That's all right, go ahead.
Keep
on, go ahead, get that one.
The conflicts that's going. I took her. She was one because I wanted the earth to be involved. Born Justice, few other guards, you know, the guards from the nation here. We went on the station, we built about what we doing, and I told them about the program that I had. The next day, God, what happened is the people that was listening tapped into me and they called me, said, listen, I got some jobs for you, but they only minimum wage jobs. I said, well, you know, he said, I finally get you at least 4 or 5 of them a month. I said, okay, let me get that. And, you know, we put it out there, guards came in, I was able to give certain brothers, you know, those kind of jobs. And what brothers gotta keep in mind, don't think that you're gonna come out here and think you can just get this high-paying job. That don't work like that.
Sure
You have to, you may have to start from the bottom, but you work your way up. And a lot of guards, and not only guards, what I see also, because I deal with the penal institution, a lot of brothers that come home that don't have an address, you know where they go? To the shelter.
That's how.
So a lot of them are
That's
still
where I went.
in
That's where I
shelters.
went.
I went to that, I had no problem going either.
And with the TS, you know, a lot of them never had a room, they've been away for so long, all they know is a shelter. And some of them are still in there from 4 or 5 years ago. So they don't know what it is to have a room or family, you know, so I'm just looking at the whole concept. And once we go in there and start building, and that will is enforced, a lot of them should be coming out of there, knowing what they gotta, you know, deal with once the first day that you come out. Don't try to reach for things that's intangible. You gotta reach for what you can, what's tangible, what you can put your hands on. But if you come out here thinking that you can reach for things that's untangible, what happens is you're gonna be a part of that recidivism that they talk about, right back. And a lot of brothers need a foundation, because you can't tell a brother that come home, listen, go over here, and he ain't got nothing to eat. He trying to eat before he can think about anything else. So the basic necessity is what's needed when any brother come out here, or that's out here, food, clothing, and shelter. Those are the basic necessities, and those things we teach when we in there. Don't get caught up in the luxuries of what you see. You know, you gotta deal with what you need right now. What's a need for you? Food, clothing, shelter.
What was the first
Get you a
job you got when
room.
you came home, guy?
Huh?
What was the first job you got when you came home?
I was working in it's called Clean RS. It was a cleaning floor job. $7.50 an hour, bro. I did have a little help. My earth, you know, fortunately, and that's why a lot of, anyway, she stuck with me. I did 18 straight years. That woman was there 14 of the 18 years, bringing my babies back up and down those highways. So basically, I just internalized that I wasn't going back. And I know if I didn't go back, or I'm black, didn't go back, a lot of them, you hero. I snatched you hero when he first came home. Come here. And I put him on a program with me. I'm your parole officer now. This is how we gonna do it. But he did all the right things. He ain't been back to jail.
No, he hasn't.
And these are brothers that go back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing you the will of the law. If you actually put it out, if brothers are taught the right way, man, again, I go back to the wisdom born degree. You know, it wasn't built for his people, so he built it for us.
Right.
So in this day and time, the laws of polarity it changes around. So that means, you know, instead of repelling, air-light gotta come together.
And stick together.
And stick together, build together.
That's right.
So
But
we
we gotta be
got
one mind.
we got a question over here from the room. Somebody said his brothers in San Quentin who are asking for some assistance with the knowledge of self. Who has permission to teach over there?
San Quentin.
That's LA.
What's the-
That's California. California.
What's his name? You got a name for him? Because I'm
You-
building with somebody up there.
You got a name or something that he could get? You said California has given the guys permission to come into jails in the Bay Area. They need a name. They need a name of somebody to get in touch with out there. He said he could get. He said he could get a name.
Huh?
Okay.
He said he could get a name.
All right, give my address and tell him to send a letter to a law school and clear my name.
You got the address. He said Damik. Who's Damik?
No, we need his honorable, whatever he in there, name.
Look, you got to get their honorable name. Oh, peace, Earth. You got to get their honorable name, and you got to mail it to the school.
With his number and his information on there.
with his number.
Whatever he wants us to do, to have him put a little letter in the envelope and send it to the law school.
You heard all that? Sincere Shakim?
Lord, Shah, I'm sorry, man. I look like I'm telling. I don't.
Yeah, no question. No, that's big. That's what
Send it with his name,
you may want to do that.
all his numbers, where he's at, and whatever he needs for the brothers to do. Whatever he needs for the brothers to do, tell him to put it in the letter.
What's your name again?
Shah, man.
Darkim from Inglewood in California.
That be behind your heart, man. Remember the brother, you know, Arabic.
I don't think I know that brother up top.
What's his name? You know
They
his
say-
name?
Nah, she's saying she said she's gonna get all that and mail it in.
Okay.
That's good. That's peace.
So look, make sure it goes to Allah You Justice. Put in care of Allah You Justice on it.
Okay, the problem with that also, so that everybody know, because we a small group, now the other areas that we reaching out to, even though I reached out to some guards in different regions, and some of them like, nah, I don't want to be involved with that. So we gotta find guards that's willing to want to, you know,
They wanna
be
add
involved.
on.
Travel?
Add on that, huh?
You said.
No, it's like
In
the
different
guard,
regions.
like you said, he in California.
All right.
For that region,
That's region 9.
that's
You need to find people
I need
there
to
in that
find
region.
people, like certain regions that we reached out to, certain guards, I don't wanna be involved with that. You know, guards that we know for years I reached out to them. So it's about finding the person that wants to, you know, be involved with it. A lot of people, they might feel it's a waste of time for them. They don't really understand the significance of what's going on, so.
I want to be
about-
involved.
Yeah.
Anything that's adding on.
He said San Quentin, yeah.
So it's also about brothers that willing to step up and, you know, assist with this, right brothers, and, you know, let them, you know, because I don't have a problem in sitting down and teaching the whole, from the very beginning, from 2003 all the way up to now, to what we've been doing, because that's what I've done with my crew. That's why they're with, even Divine Prince, he'd never been in jail before, and I mentioned that at the meeting, because I wanted them to see that this nation ain't just about brothers that's coming home. There's brothers out here and us out here, they've never been to jail. So don't think, you know, all those little myths are trying to dispel that.
Yeah.
You know, we're a nation in fact. You know, don't just, adios, because they did get concepts. Like when the first meeting I went to with them, God, they gave me a pamphlet back from them, from different guards that wrote them as to what this nation was about, and the shit was twisted, God.
Yeah.
It was twisted, for real. I'm like, let me get that, you know? So that's where we started our build from. Correcting all the errors. They had our flag under the Morris Science Temple with that round thing on the outside of it, but on the bottom of the directive it said 5%. So I brought all that up. That needs to be changed. And that it's a new year, so they're changing the directive. So I brought all that to the light, you know? So I've been doing my research with this. When I fall back, this is my what I basically been focusing on. The rest, you know, I do what I do at the school and stay constant, but it's about, you know, living out a goal, and my goal is to see that this nation go further. And if anybody has a different opinion, then it ain't the will of Allah. It's about the growth and development of this nation. It's about the love that we give one another in this nation. You know, I remember a time when I was going to build with that on my next bill on camera when we talk about supreme equality. I always use this term when I got knowledge of self back in the 70s. I remember that at the time when we would, you know, say we're not going to eat in our mother's house because of how they cook in the pots and stuff. You know, and yeah, I was one of them. No, I'm not going to eat that. You don't eat my food? Okay, then you better get your own pots and pans then if you don't eat out of my pot. And I did just that.
Right,
You know?
right.
Then I got so into it, I was like, well, ain't no pork in the house. I'm living in my old herbs house. I'm trying to tell her what to do. And I threw some of the things away, and you know, again, I had met up with all the younger, we were all younger, some of them were still around at that time. And, you know, whatever little clothes I had to take my little 2 pair of jeans and 3 shirts and 2 pair of sneakers, and that's all I had. But a bunch of us, there was a guy named Justice that was in Piedmont. He was a Paru, and he became the super of a building, but he had his own apartment. So he gave us the apartment, and it was about 12 of us living in the apartment. And the duties on a daily basis was when we got up, first thing we did was, you know, refinement. That's the order of the day. That's the first thing, you know. And then we went through 120 degrees. Then it started while you're still resting. I would wake you up before you even get up. What's the day's degree? And that's how we built. But it just made each other sharp. So after we would go through 120, we would get together. Bon Black, how much gold you got? We got to eat every day. Bon Black put in $1.50. You know, we were young. We ain't had a lot of money at that time. The guard gave me, he said, yo, I ain't got no gold. Lord Shah said, well, here, I got $5. But whatever we had amongst each other, it wasn't no separation. We dealt in equality. Whatever we ate, everybody had an equal share. Now, because you didn't have no money, didn't mean you didn't add on. It's your job. You watch it, you take care of the pots.
Gotta do something.
So, but that's equality. That's God equality at its best. Because we're doing everything for the whole that we're about. And that's how we gotta deal with life and self. Because
We got anybody in Vegas? This brother's on the street though.
in Vegas.
In Vegas. I know Knowledge of Law was out there before. Yeah, he in Atlanta the last I heard.
Right, he out in Atlanta.
Tell them that's when we gotta investigate this.
Yeah. We gonna put our heads together on that, but we gonna find you somebody in Vegas.
In the bathroom.
Tell him you got a phone call.
Tell them to call back.
But you know, I'm just showing you how
Tell them to call
equality
back.
has to be lived out. And in this day and time, a lot of us have gotten away from that. You know, I still live it. I see brothers ain't, you know, need some if I can, I'm gonna assist you, you know. But don't do it arbitrary and capricious. Make sure it's really what you need, you know. I'll build with you in regards to that. But, you know, I just want to build with that. The supreme equality is a law of mathematics. That's what you do. When you live it out. Not just talk about it, it's about living it out. You know, that's when mathematics, you know, word don't just become bond, but that bond is bonded to you living it. That's what makes it a bond, because word becomes life. It becomes your natural life. You live it on a daily basis. I wouldn't know anything else at this point. You know, and I understand it with a lot of brothers that been in this nation, become exiled, and they try to come back. But you don't know nothing else, fool, but you went and did what you shouldn't be doing.
Now you can't come
So
back.
now you can't come back. You know, so it's about, when you understand your knowledge, like which was yesterday's mathematics, and it takes time to really get into all of that. You know, to you to aspire to that degree of being God. When you fully understand your knowledge, you're gonna have to go through different degrees of understanding, and that understanding rises to the top, and it becomes the best part of you. And the best part of you is being on and on. You know, so with that being said, I didn't come here to deal
No,
with
and no, that's Pete, God. Listen, that's great, God. Listen, God. We not,
Okay.
God. Like this class Saturday, God. We're open. In fact, it's a 120 discussion class. I mean, we deal. I was telling the God earlier, taking it back to the root, that you know the word eclectic. You know, because God's, you know, because you got Darkim, he teaches on Tuesday. Umar teaches on Monday. Sunez teaches on Thursday. I teach on Saturday. I mean, the goal is the same, but the wisdom being the way, my way of giving it may be different, right? You know, Sunez takes you on a cultural and political perspective.
Yeah.
We 120. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with the root, so it's Umar. He has his perspective and science to it. One thing's for certain, though. Let me say this, God, is that having 120. I learned this 5 years ago. This is when I had this knowledge about as long as they did. Was that it was having complete knowledge and wisdom of the cipher, which is everything in the universe. I'm explaining what I mean by that. So in that, like the God was saying, just reiterating what the God was saying, this may sound crazy. I had to learn, right? what is the meaning? 'Cause I quote that from, I quote that backwards if you want me to. The knowledge God to be knowledge building degree, and the one before it. But the meaning of civilization means to be civil. So you need to obey laws. Civil means to have a job. And that also I see equality, right? Because now you're talking about man, woman, and child, right? So I gotta have those things to be meaningful in civilization. I have to know what the meaning is first. Then you can do the duty. You know, the duty is to teach now. You know, show them what your knowledge is building. You know, so again, you know, 120 is the map. That's the map. You know what I mean? Like the God was saying, and a piece of the God. Next Saturday, God, God's justice. Next Saturday, man.
I'll be here, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to talk. Yeah. I ain't going nowhere. I'm come right back. But yeah, I'm gonna let you finish building. I don't know about that. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Go outside. You go outside. You go outside. Go on peace.
Take a break.
Huh?
Darkim, want to know what you feel real quick. I'm gonna be here next week. Coming next week. I'll be here. Peace out.
Yeah. How long is class for? All day?
So finish at 3.
Yeah, it's listed out there, that's a free hand.
It's 15 more minutes. But I guess everybody left.
That's it. Even one of those brothers, I mean, I'm trying to fill up with people over here. So I got them right now, you know what I'm saying? People been hitting up, the brothers that do the Children's Day, and Reintegration said, yeah. So, you know, because these people, they want to have them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, like, so what you're saying, like, that's one of the things I was going to do, was introduce them to the mind. To be like, look, you know, you got carpentry skills, or, you know, you got access to where you can get some supplies or whatever, where you deal straight with the person. That's so cool. Yeah, that's a good job, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a good job.
Well, you know, that's it. And if you notice on that last bill that I put on there, I told them, y'all talking about what's not going on at all. So
Right.
I'm here.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
I'm here.
you're right. That's a bad narrative that get out there, and they don't realize that now there's a lot going on.
Thank you. It's just if you listening to what somebody else saying and you going with that, and that same person don't come.
Yeah, and they complaining because they can't get theirs off. That's what it is.
Peace, God.
Peace.
Peace, dog, Cam.
Peace, Doc.
Peace. See you Tuesday.
No doubt.
Yeah, I know, what's it, 1350? But I mean, like, 14 scratch with 1350. I'll find something like that, but two.
Okay.
Yeah,
Come on, get done more.
It's no,
Peace, Almighty.
Peace, man.
I'm gonna see you Tuesday also, if it's all right.
I'll be here.
Peace.
Yeah, God. So, either one.
I'm back on my feet. I'll see you next week. Peace, God.
Peace, come here, Dick. How you been, man? Seen you 1,000 years.
I was in Florida, man.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to St. Michael. I am Mike.
Yeah,
Try to knock me out twice.
yeah.
And they said something crazy out there.
Okay, were you the time out there?
No, Hurricane Michael. Literally.
Oh, man, little.
I was in the middle of Panama City, man.
Oh, glad to see you here, man.
Boy, you gonna see me in regardless.
Yeah, but I'm saying that you overcame, you know, that.
Sure.
Yeah, God, okay.
Sure.
Okay,
I'm
man.
everywhere, you know.
Yeah. So where you at here, though, now?
Medina, man.
Okay, I work in Medina, so you be seeing
Where
me.
at?
I'm downtown on J Street. One of those long street, right, the block from J.
You went to college?
No, I work for an agency that works with people, substance use and mental health.
I got a homeboy named Brian Burton.
It's called Cases. Name of the agency is called Cases.
Oh, I heard of it.
Yeah, it's called Cases. Yeah.
I heard of it. It's on over J Street?
Right off of J Street.
Oh,
Yeah, right in the lawn. Yeah, huh?
They started
I'm all over Medina.
Yeah,
Man.
so
And speaking of this, Darkim, that's what I'm talking about. So you know, like 1 bedroom apartments, like wherever in Medina, man. Like,
Yeah.
let these God please, man. You see something like, yo, listen, man, yeah, God please, man. Me and Wiz, we try to get fit, man.
Yeah, they got a couple of jump offs that they just been opening, and yeah, I don't know what the signs with them is. Like they not filled up yet. It's
Yeah,
one-
I'm just saying some spots, people. Yeah.
it's one on Eastern Parkway.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah, that's like a little bit.
Yeah, you see a lot of they on Facebook too. A lot of them spots too. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Crown Heights over in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got one that's on Picking right by Shepherd, right by the train station too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
okay.
brand
I'm always
new-
over there. 'Cause I'm on Liberty and Grant.
Yeah, brand new buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They-
Yeah. I gotta make my rounds. Run on what? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm over there like doing the hospital.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a job though.
Yeah. Okay.
Just got back like 15 minutes for the ball pop. You know what I'm saying? I was on 42nd, took a bus.
Okay.
I had to get up out of there. Now I'm homeless.
Okay.
A couple of months old. Like, I was working and all that, but I just, you know, I was homeless.
Jackson.
I don't know how. I was alright.
What?
You smell that? There's an aroma in it that
I got on some oil. You smell good?
No. It's
Oh,
about something
no.
opposite.
Oh, no. You know
No.
what I'm saying?
Smelling malodorous.
yeah, it smell like old.
Garlic and
See, Jackson,
Yeah. That.
when you dealing with the colored man and the well, you said the colored man and the devil.
Oh, it's taking the international.
It tells you that the colored man or the Caucasian man is the devil.
trying to make a way.
So I'm not sure.
Come to school, man. Come
I'm
on.
not sure what that question
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
you mean the colored man and the Caucasian man?
Remember that great current again?
Yeah.
I had that drunk for years, man.
Yeah.
And I brought her home,
Peace.
man. Like, brought her home, man. And
Joe Self said, I see today as a day for self. To know is to look, listen, and observe. But we have to do these things with self first.
was born.
Okay.
2 up on OBC.
State of the art said the color is physical,
Okay.
the devil is a state of
I
mind.
used to always go at it with, not go at it, but you know, it's with Prince.
Okay.
I mean, Prince from the Medina.
Okay.
Nah,
You got that backwards
I
state.
saw him too one time, a couple times. I mean, I know.
Okay.
All smooth, he's alright.
SP Shah came sincere, Shah came in.
I like to see you. They call him superstars.
See, the Caucasian man, right,
You know, the dance.
is a particular physical description
No.
of people that's Caucasian.
Okay.
See, colored means you other than self.
No. Actually, I'm making my rounds.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm in the army.
You can be other than self mentally or physically.
Yeah, I ain't really nothing.
You see what I'm saying? When we say we the Asiatic black man, right? When we say we the Asiatic black man, that means mind and body. We not just black physically. You understand what I'm saying? So see, colored, see it tells you that the colored man or the Caucasian man is the devil. You see what I'm saying? You can't confuse Yaqub's grafted devil with being the only devil.
That's a good way to give it to him. That's like, you like well, grasshopper. Yeah, God. Yeah, it was me for this spot.
I mean, see, the issue I have with that last statement, Joe Self, that color means that you used to have color, is that black is not a color.
I gotta get it, God, his original back.
I see what you're saying, but that's a fine line you don't want to cross.
Write it out. Took me too long though. So I just made a
What's
copy
going on?
yesterday.
Jaga Jamal.
Those ain't good, Lord.
Huh?
Those ain't no good.
What's that?
Mid ballers, man.
Why not?
Knock you off. You can't play bounce off.
No, yeah, I'm good.
Huh?
I'm good. I haven't, I hear what you're saying, but yeah, I haven't been, I'm still here. Uh-oh. Do I get to see him? Let me see. ESPN, wow.
Capone Noriega.
Yeah, y'all know. Hey, look, somebody call Real Records. Whoever's Real Records person, get him in here. Cause real Records. See, women don't wear skirts no more. But his G-string is showing. The Real Records.
Hey, Shah.
Listen, man. Sunya's got that kid shook, son.
What's up?
Oh yeah, hey.
Shook.
Yeah, man.
Y'all want me to tell y'all how scared Real Records is? Do y'all want me to tell y'all how scared Real Records is of Sunyez? Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's saying that the grafted man is other than original. Rakim Raz. Yeah, God made devil. Nah, he not a real person, man. Real Records, man, is shook, man. He's not a real person. If he come around you, he gonna step on your feet with his big clown shoes. Nah, Real Records don't come. I heard about Real Records. See, Real Records did an ancient bird move. He pulled a bird move from the last century. Next Saturday, actually, that's something, got a little good news and bad news. I'm gonna be going to check my old earth. It's gonna be the class this week. It's gonna be the class next week. But then after that, I gotta go check my mom's. I'll probably be back the first week of March. So I'm gonna miss like 2 weeks. The good news is I can still go live from down there, so peace of blame. Nah, state of the art, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, brilliant. I don't watch TV either, man. See, Caucasian, you know what that term comes from, right? But this says Sour or North Carolina. Yeah, the Caucasus Mountains is a mountain range. You know what I'm saying? Well, the Caucasus Mountains, they kind of split Europe from Asia. You got the Caucasus Mountains and the Ural Mountains. So see, that's a physical description of some people from a particular location.
Guys, go get a minute.
Yeah, I'm there.
Alright, I gotta get some stuff to clean the school with.
Alright. What's your hours?
You gonna be here?
Yeah, I should be here to at least the coach out.
Alright, I'll be back for this. Something's gonna spoil up in here, man. You don't smell that?
Yeah, I was saying it be by the time you walk in, you gotta come from outside to smell it.
It smell like somebody ain't cleaned the school the past couple days, man.
See it for it.
Yeah, I know, man. Well, I'll knock it out tonight.
Yourself now is the other way around. They exited Asia through the Caucasus Mountains. The brother you was building with, Jason Rosario. Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and check this one, Jason Rosario. You missed a good one today.
It's 3 o'clock.
Joseph said there are caves in West Asia with what looks like a form of bars fixed in the rock. Oh. Whoa. Whew. It's cold and hot in here today. What's going on? We buffering out there? Who you talking? What's see a lot, huh? What see a lot you talking about, huh? Yeah, I think it's just a lot of people on the internet today or something. I keep getting the what's the name? Keep getting a little freeze right there. Cedar Line, California. I can't place that Cedar Line right now. State, you gotta stick with your lessons, man. You asking all these questions, and you need to be sticking to your lessons. Don't worry about it yourself. Nobody understands. See, State, you gotta put the 19th degree in the alphabet. You gotta put that back in order, man. You gotta deal with the science of yourself, man. Yeah, it's the weekend or something, right? Everybody trying to look at their Netflix and trying to see what happened, with the impeachment and all that. Yeah, man, you know what you gotta stick to, State? See, today is knowledge. Like, don't be born and stuff with knowledge borns, with wisdom borns. Just first learn that one is knowledge, man. Yo, Joseph, you know about that Bitcoin science? I mean, listen, I'm not sure why y'all keep asking this question, what's the difference between devil and color? The knowledge agreement in 114 says the colored man or Caucasian man is the devil. When they're saying that people that we didn't agree with mentally, as well as these Caucasian people, had to be sent away from us, right? Because they didn't know how to act, and there wouldn't be any peace amongst them. See, a lot of this is related to the we not pro-black or anti-white science. Divine Herb. Oh, now it's born. Yeah, you your phone your phone battery died again. Asiatic said Bitcoin is a scam. Joseph said I'm studying and been in Bitcoin since 2017. But see, when you dealing right now, right? Any pro-black person, right? What's a pro-black person's dream? What's a pro-black person's dream? To wake up in the morning and all the white people have just disintegrated, right? You just wake up one day and all white people are gone, right? So how you gonna know who to trust in? Like, if you live somewhere, if you live in the projects, right? How do you know who to trust in there if you just going on black and white? That's what it is. Certain people, their mentality is colored. When it says Asiatic black man, right? That means mentally and physically. See, the devil is grafted mentally first. You know, some people don't witness shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But look, for those that see it, the worst devil is the black devil, right? So where's he grafted at if he's black? He's grafted mentally. He's colored. Justice said, I'm in the airport now, not gonna be there Tuesday. I will pass through Saturday and be there the following Tuesday. As for when you're going, I guess we would just have to hold the fort down that evening. Yeah, y'all should still come, right? Justice, y'all should still come and have the cipher. And you know, if is gonna be here, Inf will probably still be here to film, you know, especially if y'all still come and deal with that. You know, but you right about that. You know, one monkey ain't supposed to stop no show. Asiatic said they use computer power to do mathematical computation. Yeah, I need to know the computations. Just one said it's no scam. Josh Simpson, I asked because we teach the colored man to be civilized, but we don't waste our time with the devil. I was curious about the distinction. What do you mean? Yeah, nah, I think, yeah, whatever you're saying right there, nah, there's no distinction. Asiatic God Mathematics said, Justice, can you show me a physical Bitcoin? You gotta go ahead and get a new phone, huh, Knowledge Born? What melted away, SW? Yeah, see, Joseph said, yeah, now pro-black person. Oh, melted away all Caucasian people is a pro-black person's dream. But I'm saying that's not gonna eliminate all negativity. That's not gonna eliminate all devilishment, and you're not gonna be able to use that a person is white for criteria no more. Of course, they state of mind was colored. State. The 59,999. Wasn't they listening to what Yakub promised them they was gonna do? So each step of that, yeah, he was taking them away mentally. Where by the time they got there, they was willing to deal with that. See, we can talk like that now because Alfonso Brown in here. Joseph said, this is not the place for a Bitcoin bill. You got to do research on what money is first. What is fiat? Fiat means by government decree. Like they just said that it's money.
Darkim.
Mm-hmm.
You got a phone call out there, man.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Is it chick? If it's Amina, I don't want to talk. Yeah. Who?
Your problem, man.
Tell her.
Your problem, man.
Tell her I'm on a video right now, man.
What's going on, big brother?
Wait, share here. She's over there. Hold on. I'll be right back. I don't know who gave Amina the number to the school. Oh yeah, hold up. I'm back over here. I'm trying to figure out this. $793. You studying the Bitcoin science too? I dealt with Forex a little bit. I know about Forex, exchange rates and all that. Joseph said he think Bitcoin can send our babies to college in 20, 30 years. Yeah, they said, Judge, do you know the definition of semantics? I asked you a simple question. Can you show me a physical Bitcoin? All it is fake currency. Justice said it's not fake, it's electronic. Is the money on your debit card fake? Jasim said all currency not backed by a commodity is fake or fiat. I'm pretty sure that's all currency now though. I'm pretty sure no money, because all money in the 40s after World War II, they designed an economic system where they like whose money, how they value each other's money. Everybody else's money came off of resources at that time. Like nobody's money was backed by gold anymore. Their money was backed by the American dollar, and the American dollar was backed by gold. But then they messed all that up when they start printing too much more money than the gold they had in order to pay for Vietnam and all the different welfare programs they start coming out with. So because they couldn't provide the gold no more for all the dollars they was printing, they severed the ties with resources for American money too. And to my knowledge, what really supports that, the resource is connected but it don't really back it, is oil. you can only buy oil. A country can only buy oil. I'm talking about on that. Million barrels or whatever. You could only buy that kind of oil in American dollars. So if a country in South America, if Mexico wants to get oil from Iraq, first they got to convert their money to American dollars, buy the oil, and then Iraq got to convert the American dollars into Iraq dollars. But to my knowledge, that was the end of money being backed by resources. I heard that's what they trying to do in Africa. Is they trying to use the resources to back their money so they can stop getting money from the IMF and all those type of places. But that's why they keep having different coups out there. Like I heard that's what happened with Gaddafi. Yourself said the money you think is in the bank is just digits. That's true. The most money a person gets in their time is really based on signatures. It's based on signatures. Like when you buy your house, you just signed for it. There was no money. That money didn't even exist before you signed for it. Justice said value is created based on demand, supply and demand. Asiatic said they have new forms of crypto. Y'all rolling ahead. I'm caught up again. Yeah, he said they have new forms of crypto like altcoin and Bitcoin, all of which are scams. All they do is use the power of graphic cards and CPUs to do mathematical computations online. Joseph said, I know you're right about that pro-black argument. I was raised in a pro-black household too, so I seen it. So what happened, like, do they get, like they don't know what to do when, the problem is somebody black, you say? One is real, but it's changing. One of his biggest investors transferred mad Bitcoin to Binance. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That Bitcoin, I was hearing about it, when it got real when I started seeing the machines in the stores. And I was seeing all like the young boys always going to the store buying Bitcoin. I didn't know it was that serious. Joseph said government-backed toilet paper equals fiat, not backed by any math whatsoever. Aren't we mathematicians? Smell Good said, go ahead, get your rap on. A law school in Mecca. Oh, what y'all laughing at, man? Hey, Inf, man. What happened with that situation with your homie, man? Is what's his name? Real Records? Has Real Records pulled his skirt back down? What's Real Records up to, man? Joseph said, I'm learning about crypto to bring it to our seeds. That crypto is for them. Justice said, if I have a painting from a famous artist and it's valued at $5 million, is it fake? It's just paint on the canvas. The value is created from the demand. Therefore, it is not fake. Sim said it can be a bit. It'll depend on what cryptocurrency gets backed by which governments and major financial institutions. Asiatic said you can install mining software on your laptop. Go ahead, let's see how much real money you can make.